Calvin, Shedding Sheep New Zealand. These are my ewe lambs. And this video actually wasn't what I intended at all. I'm going to do a video on selecting replacement ewe lambs, using my sheep as an example. And so I went through and I gathered the data that I needed and got some footage, and then it ended up sort of all going together in this video. So it's really designed to support my other video, and it shows the reality of what some of these sheep that we are dealing with are not all the most perfectly shed pretty photos that you'll see. And I'm showing off my good ones and some of my bad ones. Though some of my bad ones had already been culled off. And part of my intention of forming this channel was to just show off normal sheep in everyday life as far as the shedding sheep go, and to spread some information. And so each video sort of shows my sheep at that time of the month, not like that, but at the time of the year, maybe I should say, that they are at. And so at the moment, of course, my girls are growing back some wool. Some of them didn't shed at all. Yeah, I do have a bucket right beside me, and they are trying to get into it. The other thing I've got, and the other thought I've had, is for you guys that are wanting to buy rams, would a little bit of footage like this video be helpful of the stud sires that the stud breeders are using, and then a little bit of those rams when it comes closer to sale time? Let me know in the comments what you think, and let's get into looking over my ewe lambs. Right, this is number 74. Her mum was from Waipa Valley, and as she went out with my skinnies, I have got her brother as well, and he hasn't shed very similar to this. He's much of the body coat is still there. She has shed belly nicely, so she is a twin. Nice and friendly, quite well grown. Feet are nice, a little bit slight. She's just been drenched. Being tagged 74, she is a reasonably early lamb. Number 74, I don't know any history on her mum because she was a buy-in. She came for 1 year and then she left, but of course 74 is a twin. This is number 72. We ate her brother at Christmas time. She's got this funny, shaggy, matted shed going on. She's out of one of my ewes. The ewe is Miss Four Titties. She's got 4 teats. This ewe doesn't though. Getting reasonably well grown, good feet, lovely temperament. I would have liked to have a bit more shed across all my sheep this year, but this one has shed reasonably well, but I would have liked all of that to go. That's that Aussie white coming through, and lovely temperament, good feet, good teeth, all the normal stuff. And she is also marked up from the ram, and interesting too, look at the back end, same amount of pressure as all the others, no dags. Her mum's gone twins the whole time. Alright, this is 88. Now 88's really interesting, being that she is 88. She is a little bit later born. She was at a big ewe that was very similar to my top ewe. They're very similar in structure. And oh yes, she is nursing a sore foot at the moment, but she doesn't normally. That's her first incident of any sore feet. And same pressure on the back, not too dirty around the back end. She is a bit younger than the rest, but her mum, I wanted a lamb out of her. And if I look back, her mum went triplets, 3 on the ground, 2 red. The next year she had 1 on the ground and it was dead on arrival. That was out of the swollen testicle ram. And then this year she had twins. The wether lamb, or the ram lamb, was dead on arrival, and this girl I pulled out backwards. And then suddenly when you look at those records you go, well, why did I actually want that sheep? She's the one with that dark nose. She certainly doesn't get any second chances. Sounds good. Alright, this is after I trimmed her feet. Bit of ugliness along the side. This one, yeah, a bit of ugliness along the side. She was a bit long in the toe, and a bit on there. She's actually got a bit of scald or something inside this right front, so feet aren't quite as good as I would like, probably just below average. This is Crystal, number 68. She's the one with that black marker on the nose. She's out of my top ewe granny. I have a brother too, and her brother is a tank, absolute tank. As you can see, she's well marked by the ram. Good feet. She's a little bit more slight than I would have liked if I'd been really picky. But she's a lovely temperament. She's a good size. She doesn't get too dirty in the back end. Does a little bit. Moves freely. And she's got a couple of little mohawks on each side. I'm pretty sure they'll drop off as a two-tooth. Good jaws, good feet. She's also got a bit of colour down the legs. Her mum went 3 for 3, 2 for 3. She had one dead on arrival, the ewe lamb, and she had twins. So Crystal is a twin. Good girl. Alright, this is 81. So 81 is out of a hogget, and she's actually a twin out of a hogget, Glenbray descended. Why do they all have to go to the bathroom when I get a camera on them? Her mum's almost got culled because she was a bit wild in the temperament, but she has settled down. And this one is still a little bit frisky, but she's calming down. She actually comes up for pellets, and she has improved greatly. Not too dirty in the back end. A little bit small, but being a twin out of a hogget, she's not too bad. Good feet, good teeth, and actually shed incredibly well as well. Her mum was a fantastic mother. Hey. Though that skitterishness was put her at the back of the paddock. Got a bit of a funny face. Not sure I like that face actually. And as such, as yet she hasn't been mated, even though she's 81, tag 81. She's taking a little bit longer to sexually mature, being the fact that she's out of a hogget. Even though her mum was the first hogget to have lambs. This is 93, Lulu. So Lulu is also a twin out of a hogget. And her mum's got this bit of an archy back thing going on. But Lulu's just lovely. She did spend a little while inside because something went wrong as a youngster. I can't see you if you're that close, girl. And then after 10 days of being cared for by us, she went back to her mum. So her mum's mothering ability is quite amazing. And I've probably giving it away. If I could find someone with a nice lifestyle block, Lulu would go to that lifestyle block because she would make a lovely little lifestyle sheep. She hasn't made it. She'd shed averagely okay. Reasonable feet. Good jaw, all the normal stuff. But I would really prefer if she went somewhere else to be someone else's loved animal. Hey, you're not quite the most productive animal that I want, even though you're a twin out of a hogget. You're not quite right, are you? Good girl. Oh, look at the back end. Not really dirty considering the pressure these girls have been under. My little ram lamb came out too. So he's just a good lifestyle sheep. He's going out on sabbatical pretty soon to another farm over at Huntley. I've lent him out. He's just a ram. He's nothing overly special. He's got a lovely temperament, absolutely lovely temperament, but not so friendly that he's going to ever be a problem, I don't think. And he's been getting out there and doing the job. Yeah, that's better. Stand up properly. I got him from a place that's been breeding sheep for the last 20 years, unrecorded, but they just choose nice structures, and the ewes are nice looking sheep. And the price was right. Good boy. Now we're going to have a look at the other one. This is 103. So she's really thrown to that Aussie white look. Very early born. She was out of one of the ewes that had only ever had singles, and I sold to my neighbour. I got 2 ewes from the same place, and her mum, as I said, only ever had singles. She is a single. Back, look how clean she is in the back end. She has mated. Structurally, I do really like this sheep. That's lovely structure and pretty good in the feet. You'll see she is docked. That's because of the neighbours had her for a little while, and she shed nicely. I have since sold her mum again. She went off at $300, so she was a reasonably structured ewe. Beautiful around the back end. She was totally crazy, but she has settled down being in this flock. So her mum went single as a hogget, or lambing as a two-tooth, and then single again. So 76. She's a twin out of a 4-tooth or rising 4-tooth ewe. Her brother was a stocky little thing too, and descended, let's see, we've got Granny, who's her grandma, and then this one's mum is number 9. Number 9 went single and then twins, and she shed beautifully, lovely feet, good jaw. Look at that, under this amount of pressure for worms, and she's still got a pretty clean back end considering. Not quite as friendly as some of the others, but if I had 1,000 sheep like that, I would actually be pretty happy. Even though she's just a little bit smaller, I got big hopes for her. So this is Jack. He just came out of someone's kill mob, and he's a little bit shorter than I would have liked. It's funny bringing home a 40-kilo ram, putting him next to my ewe lambs and finding that he's pretty short and dumpy. But he was here to solve a problem because I had another ram that wasn't looking so good. He's got a beautiful temperament, absolutely lovely, and I think he's going to probably go on to be quite a nice lifestyle block sheep for someone. Price was right. A little bit dirty around the back end. Nothing special, but he's making some lambs. Hey boy. When I checked the selection of sheep, and for feet, he had quite nice feet. And the other ones in that same mob were actually not very nice feet at all. Well, if you remember 76, this is her doppelganger. They look very similar. Stunt double. So this is 79. So same granddad, going back in history, And this one is, her mum went single as a hogget, and then she is a single. Shed nice structure. Her mum does need to perform next year, coming up to being a 3-year-old, and that's going to have a bearing on her her future. All the normal stuff. Good feet, not too dirty around the back end, and hopefully I'm talking about the right one, because 76 and 79, this one, are very, very similar sheep. She's that sheep that just doesn't stand out, just blends in, just gets on and does the job. She came from the main farm, and she was across there. She's the daughter of the ram with the dug testicle, who was a giraffe. He was a big ram. It was a big unit. When I put him into a box to turn him into sausages, there was like 45 kilos of meat boned out in the box, so he was probably about 125 to 130 kilos of sheep. She's very free moving, and she's not very friendly. Though look at the back end, she's only been drenched once. Her mum had been quite a productive ewe, and had gone twins with one lost, and then a single, even though she was fed maximum amount at the farm. And I'm putting that down to the ram. She's as tall as some of my two-tooths, but watch it. Oh, she's not going to jump. But she also jumps quite well. But very, very big sheep. Of course, she was max feed at a young age. Absolute maximum feeding that she could get. And the mum was culled because she wasn't that friendly, and I needed to get rid of some sheep, so that's why her mum was actually culled. Number 90, single lamb out of a hogget, being 90. She was a little bit later in the season, but not too much, and she shed somewhat. She's probably like a 7. Back end, I did send a photo of that, and that's the one you spotted, isn't it? Look at that back end. Now, I'm not a fan of hogget lambs, and keeping hogget ewe lambs, they have to be pretty special, and somehow she managed to actually slip into this mob. I'm not sure how she did that. But yeah, her mum was a hogget. This was reared as a single. She was a single, reared as a single. Quite a nice temperament, but that back end of course, is a concern. And it's interesting, if I had had a drench program, drenching every month, that wouldn't have shown up. And of course, if I was mating as two-tooths, not as hoggets, she may have actually got through just fine in a commercial type situation. I think we know the answer, don't we? Alright, so this ewe, you can see, this one's actually only ever been drenched once. Well, she's just had a second drench ever. Most of my ewe lambs have had 2 drench, just got their 3rd, but she's actually only just had her 2nd. And look at that back end, well grown. So her mum's gone a single, and then Hope is a single. Now, the jaw on her mum isn't ideal, and she'll go another year, and then she is going to be leaving. This one's jaw is just acceptable, so we will see if it ever goes into offspring. I'm going to be keeping a real close eye on that. Feet, lovely. Temperament, lovely. Shed, it's okay. She's not normally this worked up. That's probably an 80% shed, but that'll all fall out as a two-tooth, and she has been marked by the ram. Funny ears. Hey, you have funny ears. And she goes back, the history goes back to her dad is that big Wiltshire, purebred Wiltshire that I have. just that traditional type Wiltshire ram. Right, this is 96, so she was very late born. Her mum has been a massive milker, and again reared a 26 kilo carcass in 19 weeks out of a single. It was the first year I was here. Then had single, oh no, she had twins but lost one, and then she finished her season, her time with me, her tenure with me, having this one, which was a single. And her mum was a massive milker, just huge amount of milk coming through. And that's kind of why I've kept her. She's got pretty clean in the back end. I've got her sister, and her sister's just been marked with a red mark in the late mob. But of course this one has got that little bit of Aussie white in her. Nice feet, nice temperament. So her mum has left, who was a 7-year-old and just was getting a bit long in the tooth, and her udder was hanging around the ground. So I've got to watch that with this one. And even if she's not mated, I think I'm going to give her a try. Next year I'm going to be very forceful on my 100% hogget mating. But this one might get a little bit of leniency. And because she is late born too. Hey. Right, look at that. Oh, she's showing off her stance. So this is Whippet. So she is the daughter of that stocky little ewe that I've got, that I acquired a little while ago. And so her mum has gone triplets, twins, single. And she's held a little bit of fleece. Look at that back end, nice and clean. She's only ever had one drench as well. She's ripped out her tag, and so I think we worked out it's 104 for her. She's calming down, but just the overall style of sheep is just lovely. Don't go down there. Come past me. If we get a look at that back end, how wide she is, even though she's got a little bit of fluff on the back end. Look how wide she is across that back end. And apart from the temperament, she's overall a pretty good sheep. Hey. Commercial guy would be struggling to fault that sheep, especially if all her wool falls off as a two-tooth. And she was marked up at the beginning of March to my big Aussie white ram, because her father is that traditional Wiltshire that I've got. So she could go to the big ram and pop out a part Aussie white lamb. Right, this is number 106, but she was actually tagged like in the high 90s, and she ripped the tag out. She is a single out of a late born two-tooth, and the two-tooth's my fluffy one, you know, that big fluffy back. But this one has actually shed really well. She's just got a little bit of fluff on the back. While her mum isn't too friendly, she's actually calmed down quite a lot. We're getting to the end of the run, so she's a little bit worked up. Now she's also the one that had that thing happening under the jaw, so I've gone in and drenched her. Bit small because she's late born and out of a hogget, but she did grow really well and catch up to a lot of the other sheep. The mum is still in my flock as a bit of an experiment, because with the lamb shedding like this, it's interesting to see that the ewe hasn't. And you can see she doesn't have a dirty back end, but she's got pale gums, so she has had some barber's pole, and was drenched today. Got her third drench today. Her mum, being hogget, she's only ever had one. Of course, that's the way it works. And she's got this big long tail. Mum's got a big long tail too. Right, so this is number 78. She's a pure Wiltshire. She was born at the cow farm. The ram with the big testicle, the giraffe of a ram, is this one's dad. Now mum was an interesting one. Mum went twins, beautiful ewe. We reared a beautiful pair of twins. And then got eczema, and she had like premature twins. She had a blind teat on one side, lost the ewe lamb, but she did actually manage to rear this little scruffy single, and then she was culled for dog food. She never managed to get the cut. Somehow she managed to miss it. We were just too busy, and she was running with the testicle ram who was there to be culled. And once the ewes were a couple of months in lamb, I'm not going to cut heads off. So this is the offspring of that mix. And again, maximum feed. Both the ewes only had singles, even though they had huge amounts of food. But she grew quite a nice ewe lamb. That eczema thing is a bit of concern, but she's in lamb now, so I'll run her, see what happens. But I do know that it's in her background. She's certainly not going to get a second chance of any kind. Sheds, okay, so I would like that last little bit to come off, and I'd like her to be more quiet. But hey, if you didn't know the history, you'd say that was not a bad sort of sheep. But we do know the history, so it's not ideal.